Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God, our moments with the Word of God, our moments with the love, mercy, and compassion of God, our moments also with the holy ones of God. In the last few days, I've been telling you about some different saints, as I have told you earlier, that every day the church has some saint or the other. And today, the saint that I will speak about, somehow I have a special relationship with, and I will tell you in a minute why. But these saints, of course, leave an example before us that yes, despite being human beings, we can still follow spiritual paths and reach a certain level of spirituality, provided we are in touch with God, we are touch in with our own selves. And my dear friends, also ask your friends to subscribe to the channel and share the videos with others. Thank you. Yes, today on the 29th of January, we celebrate the feast of Saint Josef Freinademetz SVD. Have you heard of this SVD? Yes, after my name also I write Reverend Father or Reverend Dr. Dominic Emmanuel SVD. SVD is this big organization, or in the religious terms we call them religious order, religious congregation, which in Latin SVD is Societas Verbi Divini, which means Society of the Divine Word. So Josef Freinademetz, who was born in 1852 in Austria. At that time, that part was still Austria. Of course, later on, after the World War II, that part now belongs to northern Italy, or it is called South Tyrol or South Tyrol. So he was born there, and in 1875, in the year when this society was founded by Arnold Jansen, he was ordained a priest. And then in that area, he worked for 2 years as an assistant parish priest for 2 years. And then he heard about this missionary society that Arnold Jansen had founded. But already as a seminarian, he had a great desire to be a missionary, to go to a far off land. You see, although this is Austria, you can see how the weather is. And it could as well be China. You'll see this chimney. I have particularly chosen this in the background to give you some resemblance to China. Also these jungles, I myself have been to China way back in 1993, so it did appear like that, parts of it, but that's another matter. He then wrote to Arnold Jansen to meet him, and his bishop allowed him to go and meet that time in Holland. Steyl was the village, and there he expressed his desire to go to the missions. And of course, Arnold Jansen had founded this society for missionaries, particularly to send them at that time from Germany and the areas surrounding that to mainly to China and to backward countries where people were underdeveloped and people had not heard the good news of the gospel. So he, of course, Arnold Jansen was very happy that he had a candidate like him. And then they came in 1979. He and one more confrere with the name of Anza left for China. They landed at that time in Hong Kong after 5 weeks. And for 2 years, they prepared themselves there. I remember this place in a little away from Hong Kong, on an island where I happened to visit. I was very excited to visit this place. Not the time when I went to China, but later on, I had another opportunity to visit this place. And it was such an inspiring place because it is quite backward and you have to go through water and boat and things like that. There they prepared learning language, etc. And then they were appointed to the area of South Shandong, and then they traveled towards that place, and he got immediately to work into that area. There is very interesting life about Josef Freinademetz. Right in the beginning where he went to work, there were only 158 Christian families. But he started working with them, teaching them catechism and things about the faith. And of course, because he was a foreigner, He was not very easily accepted, not well accepted. But he developed a Chinese beard, and he used to wear a Chinese cap. He dressed himself like a Chinese, totally adopted to the local culture to be able to reach out to them. And after about 20 years of his work there, Arnold Janssen, the founder, invited him and others to come back to Style to celebrate the silver jubilee of the foundation of the Order, Society of the Divine Word. But Josef Freinademetz, being a saintly man, was so committed to his work that he thought it is useless to travel that far just to celebrate a jubilee. He was so deeply involved with spreading the word of God. Like, I am doing here, my ears are almost freezing, and despite I have a cold, I am still making this video because I like, of course, this weather and wanted to somehow identify the area and the weather with the work that Josef Freinademetz did. Finally, there is a long story, of course, about him. He did a lot of work. People beat him up. People spat upon him. But he never, ever got upset. He never condemned them. He continued to work with them. That is the life of a missionary, that sometimes people will not accept you. And that happens, of course, sometimes in our own families, in our own society, yes, like the Society of the Divine Word. Some people may not accept you. But as a missionary and as the follower of Christ, we need to move forward. Finally, he was infected by a sickness called typhus, and it affected him, and he finally died. Actually, he died on the 28th of January 1908, but because 28th of January is the feast of the famous Thomas Aquinas, the feast is shifted to 29th January. He was canonized by John Paul II in Rome on the 5th of October 2003, and you might be surprised when I speak about myself. I had the great privilege to be in Rome that day to attend the canonization of both our founder Arnold Janssen and Josef Freinademetz. And do you know, just as a byline, there is also the same month, after 2 weeks, was the beatification of Mother Teresa on the 19th of October, and I happened to be there as well. And so I can tell you a lot of stories, but I ask you also to pray for me that our mission of proclaiming the word of God and sharing the good news of God's love and forgiveness may reach out to more people. And if you like, you may please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.